Hello and welcome, my name is Kyle FtW and welcome back to another Call of Duty Vanguard video. Today we are back with another map guide video. Today we're taking a look at the map Numa Numa, which you guys can of course see right here, which is a very interesting map. It's one of the more wide open maps here in the game, and it's honestly not one of my favorite maps in the game, only because it's pretty crazy, not gonna lie. But nonetheless, we're back with another map guide video here. Again, we're covering every single map in the game. I'm trying to get all of these done before Season 1 goes live. And, pardon me, I do have a little bit of a sore throat today, so I will probably be drinking water throughout this video, because these, out of all the videos I make on YouTube, these map guides are the ones that kill my voice the most. So let's go ahead and first do what I have normally done with the past two videos and show you guys all of the high action areas, as well as where as many of the spawns that I can remember are going to be. So starting off here at the very first really strong area of the map is the entire middle area. So if you guys see where the red circle is right now, this is where pretty much I would say 90% of the action happens. It's the absolute most craziest area of the map, and most of your gunfights will be here. If not, if you're hanging out in this area, you're going to be in gunfights quite often. But again, it's also going to be very risky, which I'll show you guys here in a second. We also have ourselves the caves area, where the red circle is right now. And then last but not least, we have over by the B objective, which kind of goes into where the middle is, and those are the main areas. And then of course I will put all of the spawn points that I know of right now on the screen for you guys to check out, because of course it's very hard for me to explain, so I'll just put all of them on the screen for you guys to check out, so that you know where the spawns are. So we're gonna go ahead and head over to that direction first, and then we'll go to the middle, and then we'll go over to the right in those caves, or the left in those caves. So starting off here, let's go ahead and head over this way. So obviously we have ourselves some exploding barrels here, which honestly, whenever you play this map, I kind of recommend just destroying them right away, because exploding barrels are super annoying. There is an objective here. I believe this is the C objective, if I'm not mistaken, or the A objective. Either way, it's one of the outside objectives here. But if I go to this area right here, I can get a line of sight to head to enemies that are coming from right there by the truck. I can also get a line of sight to enemies that are coming over there by that log pile, and then enemies that are coming up here as well. I can get a line of sight to them also. If I climb up on here, this will take me into this building right here, which is a pretty useful spot to be in, as well as it gives me an overview to the middle of the map. And one thing to keep in mind is this is sort of like, I don't know if you guys have ever, I'm sure most of you guys have probably played the zombie map before, but the map de Reese, I guess, is sort of what this map is like. It's got a central circular middle area, and then outlining lanes, where pretty much if you are on any of the outside lanes, you'll be able to see into the middle of the map, which is pretty useful and something to keep in mind, of course. Again, we'll talk about the middle in depth here in a little bit. We can also run across here and come over to these little sandbags here, which gives you a little head glitch towards enemies that are over there, and then enemies that are coming through here as well, which is again very useful. Now over here we can run into this building, and all of these little wood boards are destructible environments, and a lot of the time whenever you play this map, these will be destroyed, because they make this area a little bit harder to traverse through. Again, when coming through here, I can get a line of sight once again to enemies that are coming from there, and even I can get a very thin line of sight to enemies that are over there as well as over there, which is very useful. And now coming downstairs, here is one of the main destructible environments here, as well as right here. Again, just so that you guys know about those, there's really, obviously you can shoot through them to kind of get a little line of sight to enemies up there, but the second one that I destroyed, which was right here, is probably the better one to do that to. Also, if I go down over this way, there's a little bit of a peeky window there that if I am over here, if I can, there we go, that I can, anticipate enemies coming through that way. But again, if they're coming through this door that way, if that makes sense, then odds are that if I'm sitting here, I'm going to get shot in the side. Obviously, that's not a good thing, so you're going to have to keep that in mind and be very careful with that. Now coming over here, this once again is a very kind of sketchy area to be in for a couple of reasons. Number one, there is a head glitch that is right there that can barely, that little angled hill there. Enemies can kind of hide behind that a little bit, and you can't really see them very easily at all. Also, enemies can come through here. This one is more of a cut and dry, sort of just keep your sights up and aim at them, because again, there's not really any sneaky head glitches. Obviously, these tanks here do have a head glitch on them. I mean, I can stand behind here like this, and then only my head is showing. So you have to keep that in mind, but for the most part, this isn't a very, very risky area. However, over here, though, is pretty risky, because again, enemies hide behind that, enemies hide behind that rock over there, as well as behind the tank over there, and it can just be kind of risky. Plus, this is in the wide open. I can get shot from a wide array of different angles. Again, here's another destructible environment right here, which allows me to get access to the middle of the map, which again, as you guys can see, the middle of the map, a whole lot of stuff can go down. From what I know of, from the 10 times I've played this map, enemies like to hang out up there. They like to hang out up there. I can even climb all the way up there, or all the way up here. You can't climb all the way up there, but all the way up here. And yeah, this is just a very, very risky area to be in. I honestly recommend trying to stay as far away from this middle area as possible, because again, a lot of times that I die on this map is because I'm hanging out right here. You can obviously, I actually kind of do recommend even taking some gunfights in here, because that's where most of the enemies are going to be. Once those gunfights are gone, you should probably run away and head over into that little cave area, or head back over to the tank over by the A objective, which I believe is right here. So keep that in mind as well. And again, a couple of ways to go about this area is just to crouch. Keep in mind, though, that when you're taking gunfights in this area of the map, a lot of the times the people that you die from are actually the people that are up there on those logs, as well as up there. So again, because a lot of people like to camp, and unfortunately, a lot of the times I've played this map, enemies have been camping up there where I'm shooting right now, and they don't move the entire game. So one way that you can actually get them off there is shoot that exploding barrel, because obviously that will take them out, or just keep your sights up. You can even mount on, actually you can't even mount on any of this stuff, so you can just make sure you have a low recoil weapon and then take out the enemies that are up there. But again, that is one of the biggest camping spots up there, which I'll show you guys here in a second. Eventually we will run into the middle, and I'll show you guys all the stuff that has to do with that, but for right now we're still focusing on this lane here. Now, one thing you can also do here, which is kind of sneaky. Oh, I'm stuck. Wow, that was a glitch. Well, goodbye, world. Nice knowing ya. Spawn back in here. Let's head back over there. It's going to take me a little bit of time, but for some reason I got stuck in there. That was a little bit of a weird glitch. To be fair, I've never gone up on that tree, but I'm just trying to see if you can, because there is another tree that you can climb up on in this map, which I'll show you guys in a second. But I'm just kind of curious if you can climb up on this tree. Yeah, you can. Wow. So you can climb up on this tree, and this is actually, holy crap, this is a really freaking good area to be in. Risky, but really, really good, because look at this. I can get a whole line of sight to enemies that are over on C, which is huge. I can also surprise enemies that are coming through there. I'm assuming that if I'm right there, I can probably shoot through and get you. Actually, no. Wow, this is a really, really good spot. Holy crap. Obviously, I've never seen anyone up here, so that's why I didn't know this spot existed. Obviously, playing this map 10 times, you know, debatably is not enough to actually get a full map guide video for you guys, but to me, you know, 10 times is enough to know the routes, know where everyone is. But this is actually a really overpowered spot to be in. Holy crap. Because I can get a line of sight to enemies that are right there, that are peeking their gun out, and they can't get me. And also, if I'm up here, I can get a line of sight to that whole area over there, which is really, really, really a big deal, which is awesome. So very, very cool spot there. Again, destructible environment there, destructible environment there, destructible environment there, and destructible environment over there, to keep that in mind as well. Obviously, that stuff gets destroyed pretty quickly, so again, keep that in mind. And then climbing up here again just gives me a line of sight over to enemies over there, which is super, super useful. Now, one other thing is this tree right here as well is the other thing that you can climb up on. And again, risky, but this gives you a really good line of sight to enemies that are there, enemies that are in the middle, especially enemies that are camping way over there. In fact, this is probably the best place to actually take out a camper over there, because of the fact that you're far away and they probably won't be able to see you. And I mean, this map is just beautiful, by the way. Really, really like this map. Definitely one of my more favorite Pacific themed aesthetic maps. Just kind of a side note there. It looks really, really nice. Also, I can get line of sight to enemies over at B, and they can obviously see me up here, but they won't really anticipate it very well. So again, can use this tree as my advantage. And then down here, honestly, just running down here really quick, not a lot of stuff happens here. This map does go quite far back. It goes all the way back to this barbed wire back here. But again, a lot of people don't really spend much time back here. I've rarely gotten any kind of fights. Again, by the little red circles in the beginning of the video, kind of indicates where everyone is. for the usual, usually, but you can of course crouch here to call in a kill streak, but there's really only one callable kill streak in this game, or two. So again, doesn't really make a lot of sense. I'm now jumping over here into this route. Again, all this stuff on the side is pretty wide open on this left side of the map. Again, you guys can see where I am right now. But again, climbing up through here, we can go across this tree to get to one of the biggest camping spots of the entire map. But again, I'm not going to cover the middle yet because we're not quite done. I'm just going to cover this area real quick. Again, this destructible environment is destroyed pretty much at the beginning of every single game. You guys just saw how easy that was to destroy. So again, the B flag is right here, so you can of course sit back here if you so wish. Kind of get next to these crates. You can even mount on these crates to take out enemies that are trying to capture B. I can even go ahead and mount over here, take out enemies that are coming from the caves. And I can even, once again, head glitch on here to kind of take out enemies that are coming down that little hill right there as well, which is super useful. I can even crouch right here and get in line of sight to enemies that are coming down this pathway. Again, I'm kind of being a little bit sneaky here. I can even go all the way up here to take out an enemy that is camping on top of that little ammo pile if I so wish. And then again, vice versa, if I can head glitch on these little wooden logs to take out enemies over there. So again, this is a pretty risky spot to go through to try and capture B, because again, if you have B on this map, you have a pretty heavy advantage, because again, enemies will be right there, which means that they're on a head glitch, which is obviously not the best thing to do. So there's a few ways to take out the enemies that are over there. You can throw your gammon bomb over there, try and do some damage, and then go through these trees and try and take them out. Or, as I showed you guys just a little bit ago, you can climb up here under this tree and then take them out from over there. But again, you're pretty vulnerable up here. I mean, there's pretty much an infinite amount of areas I can get shot from, or ways I can get shot from up on that tree. But I can also go behind here and kind of hide myself a little bit to take out the enemies that are on that head glitch over there. But unfortunately, I can't see enemies that might be head glitching on those boxes there. So again, here's where B is, and now let's go ahead and get into the middle of the map here, which is again where all of the action goes down. So again, up here, this is where a lot of people like to camp, or at least run through down to get to B, so you have to keep that in mind and anticipate that. I can also run all the way down over here to the caves, or to get to the C, around the C objective through this pathway as well. And again, a lot of times enemies will spend a lot of time up here. A lot of the times, though, I will admit that they don't really camp up here. They just kind of use this as a way to get down here. But again, while this is risky, honestly, in all reality, this is a very, very, very risky area to be in. Odds are you're going to get a lot of deaths trying to run through here, because again, you're very vulnerable. I mean, there's, just based off of these wood little head glitch areas, there's 3 ways to get shot from there. I can get shot from there. I can get shot from that tree that we were on up earlier in the video. I can get shot from down there. Yeah, you guys get the idea. Very, very dangerous area. But again, a lot of enemies like to spend a lot of time over here in the middle, because again, a lot of the action happens here. Again, running through the middle here is just not a smart idea. As I mentioned in every single map guide video, it's just common Call of Duty. You just don't want to ever run through the middle of the map. Ever. It just is a terrible, terrible idea. Stick to the caves, which I'll show you guys in a minute, and stick to that route over there. Peek your head into the middle. It's obviously useful to do that every once in a while, but don't, run through here like this and just get into the middle of the map, because you're going to get shot from so many different angles. It's not going to work out that well. You're going to get a lot of deaths, and therefore you're going to get frustrated. This is one of the more divisive maps in the game. A lot of people don't like it. So again, and that's why I make these videos also, to try and help those people who may not like the map that much, to sort of get them acquainted with these maps and everything like that. But, however, being in the middle of the map, I do have a few advantages. Number one, I can take out enemies that are coming through there. I can take out enemies that are up there. And I can even get enemies that are way over there on that head glitch, if I can. A lot of the times you won't be able to see them very, very good, but you can still do that. I can also take out enemies that are on that head glitch there. That head glitch there, obviously they're probably going to win the gunfight, because I'm standing in the middle of nowhere with really no head glitch. But again, I can take those enemies out. And if I crouch, I can even take out enemies that are on B and get enemies through that little area I showed you guys earlier in the video. So again, this does have its uses, but I would highly recommend not spending more than maybe 2 seconds here. But a lot of the time, if I even do spend 2 seconds here, I'm probably going to get killed, because again, not a safe area to be in at all. Now coming back over here, again, destructible environment, which I showed you guys earlier. And this is the camping spot that I was mentioning earlier in the video that is super, super annoying. a lot of times enemies will camp up here. I don't know why. It's a really bad camping spot. But if your team is spawning back there, then it's a really, really overpowered camping spot. So just keep that in mind. It's really easy to take them out. Just destroy the destructible environment. But just keep that in mind that enemies do like to camp here. And again, if you climb up on that tree, like I showed you guys earlier, you'll be able to take enemies out that are over here pretty easily. Now switching a little bit over here to the opposite way. Again, I showed you guys from over there facing this direction where I currently am. Now let's go ahead and talk about going this way. So again, one of the best ways to go about this area of the map and to avoid dying by enemies on that head glitch over there is just to use the cover to your advantage. Again, if I get to right here, I'll just throw my explosives over this log pile, because it'll at least get them weak, and then I can come over here, slide, and then take them out from this head glitch right here, which is pretty useful. But again, that's pretty much the best way to do that. You can't climb up on these trucks. Actually, you can climb up on these trucks, which is pretty useful. Again, I don't really climb on stuff that much. That's why sometimes I say, oh, you might not be able to climb on this, but then I figure it out myself that you can climb on this stuff. And again, this could be useful for a second. Again, a lot of my body is showing. I would say probably over half of my body is showing, but again, it might take an enemy by surprise, maybe once or twice a game. So you can of course climb up here if you so wish. Now let's go ahead and talk about the caves, which is probably one of the final areas of the map where a lot of action goes down. Again, there's a destructible environment there. There is a destructible environment right here and a door that allows you to kind of get a little bit of a sneaky flanking route, which is pretty much only going to be useful at the beginning of the game, but there we go. Again, without that destructible environment destroyed, you can basically only go through here and then up there. So again, oh, and right here, funnily enough, there's another destructible environment right here. Again, this is a little hidey hole that you can, wait for enemies to come through on, which is again pretty useful. But again, I recommend destroying those explosive barrels because you don't want to get those dumb deaths by them. But again, I do recommend destroying the destructible environment here as well. Just opens up the cave quite a bit more, makes it a little bit, makes you be able to play it a little bit better, which is obviously very, very nice. And again, there's really not any super strict or super common lines of sight. Obviously, this is a head glitch here that is pretty self-explanatory. I can mount on this little door frame right here if I so wish as well. I can mount on this, and I can even mount on this right here as well. But again, pretty self-explanatory in this area. This is really, really good for SMG shotguns, and it also allows you to get to B pretty quickly. I can even come right here and then just aim down sight and wait for enemies to walk by. Pretty useful there. And then of course this also is a cave that takes me up to the middle, which is one of the which I would say is probably the second best way to fight in the middle. So obviously what I showed you guys over there is to just come into that head glitch where those logs are, get a few kills, and then run back over to the C objective over there. With this, I can run up here, maybe get 1 or 2 kills, and then run back into the cave, be kind of sneaky, and then come back and get into this gunfight over here, which again is pretty useful. But again, when it comes to the cave, there's really not much to cover. It's a pretty self-explanatory spot. Again, I can also mount right here, especially if it's early in the game, and then take out enemies that are coming from over there. And that is pretty much going to do it, guys. Again, it's actually surprisingly a little bit of a shorter map guide video than my usual ones, because again, this map, while it is a little bit more complicated, it's pretty wide open, so there's not a whole bunch of buildings on it or anything like that. And I actually do kind of like this map a little bit, especially the aesthetic. The aesthetic is probably my favorite part of it. It just reminds me of, the Pacific theater of World War II, which obviously makes a whole bunch of sense. But yeah, overall, I do like this map quite a bit, and I think that it's not as bad as people say it is, but again, it is kind of crazy and everything like that. But just hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. Hopefully it was able to help you out. If it did, like is always appreciated. If you want to check out any of my other previous map guide videos, they will all be linked down below within the playlist in the description. If those are previous episodes, will be at the end of the video as well. And I'll see you guys all in another Call of Duty Vanguard video very, very soon.